So my name is Asha Daniels. You can call me Ash. And I am teaching Hatha Vinyasa and Yoga Nidra. And these two styles are quite complementary, but the first style kind of focuses more on the yang element. So Hatha, Ha stands for sun, and Tha stands for moon. So it's a balancing of the sun and moon energies in your body. And when we do this practice, in Hatha we kind of hold poses, sometimes poses that are a bit challenging, to build heat in the body. In yoga we call this Agni, it's the fire. So the more fire we build, it starts to burn out the toxins. So that's why we feel like that sweat come on, it's burning out toxins, it's kind of burning out any stagnant energy, it's kind of flushing it out. So it's like the sun shining from the inside out, kind of, and burning out all the stuckness that we get stored in our body. Vinyasa means flow. So what is the flow? Well, it's the flow of the breath, because the breath is connected to everything. So how we breathe shows the quality of our life. So when we breathe slow, we breathe deeply, we're more connected to our body, our nervous system is calm, we're able to deal with life from that space of calm, yet a clear mind. So vinyasa, flow, we're flowing the breath with the movement of the body, and you can't do this without focusing exactly on the present moment, right? So that brings your mind into it. So right in that moment, you have mind, breath, and body connection through the flow. So Hatha Vinyasa is a practice of cultivating fire, burning out toxins, purifying the body. So that's really what we're doing, to then create what I love so much, that homeostasis, that state of balance. And you'll feel it immediately after your class when you're feeling that relief of like, oh, I had all that like crazy mind and I was coming from work and I was doing all this stuff, and you immediately connect to your breathing, you start moving your body. And at the end is when we move into Shavasana and stillness, and that's the juicy point when you're like, oh. And that kind of leads into Yoga Nidra. And Yoga Nidra is such a beautiful practice for me personally. It was kind of my first step to going into my internal world and understanding what that is. Because in the beginning, lying in Shavasana, you're closing your eyes. You're not really dealing with anything outside of you. You're turning your awareness inwards. In yoga, we call this pratyahara. So withdrawing our senses, focusing them inwards. And that's when you start to perceive and understand and just observe what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your body, and you start to just become aware of, okay, I have this whole inner world. What's that about? Yoga Nidra is the most, in my experience, the most calming and relaxing, nurturing way to move into meditation. Because we are doing it through a practice where you're really, no effort is involved. You're simply just being. So you're shifting from doing, which was like the Hatha Vinyasa, we're kind of, to doing nothing, just being present with whatever arises within you, and being the observer, and noticing the sensations in the body that may or may not be there, and noticing what arises in your mind. Is it thoughts? Is it memories? Is it images? And slowly over time, it starts to become a more safe space to be with your own body in a still manner without needing to escape your body, without needing to escape your own experience. So the way we do Yoga Nidra is we just lie in Shavasana, which is the corpse pose, the dead man's pose, the one where we're switching off all the doing. We're turning our senses inwards through pratyahara techniques, withdrawing the senses, turning them inwards. And then we're starting to systematically relax every single part of the body. So we go through every part, relaxing consciously. Then we move into the breath, the second layer. Then we move into the mind, the third layer, and the most powerful, that's actually running the show. So we're kind of backtracking deeply into ourselves in a very safe, calming space where you know you're supported and held. So whatever does come up, you know you're in a space with someone who is completely non-judgmental and allows you to have your own experience. So that's very important. And over time, you can actually do this on your own. So you get comfortable being still, being quiet, moving your mind inwards, and being able to be with yourself, whatever comes up, and letting yourself have that, I guess, subconscious experience while awake. So I know that's a little tricky to understand, but like think of it this way, as like we're conscious most of the time because we are awake and we're kind of perceiving the world. All our senses are moving outwards. And then we have the unconscious state where we're completely asleep. We're not even aware because we're just not awake. But then there's the subconscious, that's the in-between state, the state between being fully awake and fully asleep. And that's where all the deep healing work happens. That's what we call the subconscious state. And that is the yoga nidra state. So nidra means sleep. So it's a yoga sleep. So it's where you are still awake, you are still alert, but you are in your subconscious as opposed to your conscious mind. So that would be like maybe a more technical way of understanding, but the reality of my direct experience of that has been like, okay, I can feel safe in my body. And this happened through a lot of, like, I would guess, years of my own trauma, years of my own experiences that made me not feel safe in my body, which made me not trust my own mind, which kind of made me not feel comfortable being still for a period of time. I kind of get agitated and like want to move and want to leave or want to like play some music or go for a walk or do something again. So thinking, can I just be still but actually be comfortable in the stillness? That was so scary for so long. And Yoga Nidra was kind of a very gentle way for me to not be scared of my own inner experience, to be curious about it, to see what arises without judging it, and to let myself process naturally over time, maybe these deeper experiences that were kind of bothering me. And that kind of evolved into an introspective, philosophical understanding of myself as a human being, and also myself as deeper than just a physical human being, a consciousness that's here to express through a human body. And to kind of unravel all these aspects of myself, the ego mind, the true self. Well, that's where philosophy really helped kind of set the stage of a deeper understanding of the human self and how we are so connected to nature and a part of nature. And so that's really my love for yoga, is like, okay, the more I learned, my curiosity grew, and then I would come and practice and have my own direct experience. And then that would fuel the experience more. So more philosophy, more practice, more integration, talking to other people and hearing their experiences. And like I would say overall, everyone, when they do go into yoga, over time, they do start to experience, oh, the meditative state is really wonderful. In the beginning, it's like really overwhelming. And so that became such a passion to me. I'm like, this is something that I directly can relate to. This is something that's taken me, I've been teaching for over 15 years now, so it's not like overnight it happened. And it's something that I can truly understand when I have students in the room. Like, I get it, I've been there. Just last week, I was speaking to Carla, who came when I first started teaching in another studio, and then found out I was teaching again here and came directly for the Yoga Nidra. And it was so cool because she was actually relating it to her experience as a mother and having a younger daughter and dealing with all the teenager stuff that comes up and understanding how much presence and importance as a parent you have, not just for yourself but for your children, because you're raising them in a crazy ass world. So she was sharing her perspective of how much it benefits her to come to the classes and how she can feel the difference when, she doesn't come regularly, and she can start to see the patterns of like how it benefits just calming her own mind, having a regular, and it was so interesting because she kept saying a regular practice was really where she started to see. And I was like, that is so true, because when you kind of just show up one time, it's like having a shower one time, and then like 6 months later, you're like, maybe I'll go have another one. Right? Like 100%. Another student actually said that. I was like, it was the first time he had tried a class, and he was like, it was like having a shower on the inside. I was like, You get it, I get it. And we could relate to that because we had both had our own completely different yoga experiences, but we kind of arrived at a very similar space. We're like, oh yeah, it does something on the inside. And I feel that is kind of what a lot of students kind of like echo to a certain point. It's like, I'm so glad I made it. Why am I not making this more of a priority? Because yeah, the benefit back is like, not only does it calm me down and make me, in yoga we call it the sattva state, so you're calm yet clear of mind, and you're able to then respond to the world in a very different way. And that, I think, is the essence of what keeps bringing me back, and a lot of my students back, is like, I'm different when I leave. I'm more centered, I'm more calm. I maybe am a little more compassionate with myself. Maybe I'm a little bit less judgmental with myself. And those things only happen inside you when you give yourself the time and space to really sit with yourself. And so that's why I love this space, because that's literally what we're offering people, is this beautiful space with people with high integrity who value having, stillness and the incredible, and it's so nuanced, but the incredible calmness it does give, but it does take time in the beginning. I did not arrive here overnight. I was like, what is going on a lot of times? But I'm 100% sold on it now. Like, it's just, there's so many techniques of yoga, whatever you need, whether it's somatic movement, maybe going straight into stillness is really hard in the beginning. Try doing, classes first to take you into that. Try whatever you need to, because there's not like one path for everyone. It's really whatever helps you to get where you need to go in that. Because it can be a bit daunting, like, what am I doing? I'm just sitting there, just lying down, but there's a lot going on, and just having a space that understands that. And also I love is like, everyone here is like, they're happy to chat. The other teachers, there is a community vibe and a community feel. So after class, if you want to have a chat with me or another teacher, like, don't worry about it. Like, that's awesome. And I love that feeling, that even when I go to other teachers, like, I feel that they're happy to talk to students. I very much like to just, as best as I can, as authentically as I can, live the principles of yoga in my everyday life. Because I feel like if you're not bringing it off the mat and into your life, then we lose the value and the capacity of how much it can benefit. So making that connection of like, how do we move what we're doing in here out into the world? So that's where the philosophy, the yamas and the niyamas, and understanding the basis of the tenets of yoga really do add a lot more into the experience. So I love philosophy. I love, and I would say my main thing I want people to know is, yes, yoga is a practice for life. So any way that I can directly experience that and share that with other people who want to use yoga in their everyday lives, like intangible, real life ways, not like up in the air, but grounding and embodying yoga into reality is kind of where I love and sit and live in. And as a teacher, I really do love more than anything is to give educational yoga. So you don't have to go and become a yoga teacher, and you don't have to do like $3,000 of 200 hours to learn the basis of yoga. Like, if you want to do that, all power to you. Like, go for it. It's only going to benefit you. But if you're just interested and you're curious to learn about the basis of yoga and how it can help your life, like nervous system regulation, like I'm obsessed, because the last 3 years of my life I was like, how did I not connect these dots? How have I been living in chronic stress? So yeah, it really, really informed my practice, and now how I teach students is I'm constantly looking at their nervous systems and addressing that and helping people understand that, and then using pranayama, breath work, somatic movement, and yoga nidra to come back into a regulated nervous system. So doing courses and workshops on yoga nidra is where I'm sitting at the moment. I love it. Anyone who's kind of likes to nerd out a little bit is kind of like, that's where I'm at. I love that. So getting people together and talking about yoga, giving them a little bit more of the depth the cultural, the historical background. I mean, I grew up in India. I was born and brought up there. So I lived there 27 years. I did all my yoga training there. I kind of went really deep in a lot of different lineages. So I don't really mind, like, whatever specific style or practice you're coming from, the basis is the same. Connecting to yourself, understanding yourself as more than just a human body, understanding yourself as a deeply loved consciousness that is part of the totality of consciousness. Like, that gets me going. So I would say that's kind of where I lie, is in education, but also how can we bring that into practical life? How can it benefit you in your real life?